Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 1807 of What's She Up To Now, documenting the journey with my heels, primarily as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business. Today, WIIFU, dig your heels into how about goals, since we're doing an annual challenge on everything goals, how you can get what you want automatically by doing one thing every day to move you toward what it is that you want, toward your goals. And we're going to talk about everything goal related, or not everything, but as many things as we possibly can once a day for 365 days, which means we're going to cover probably a master's level of goal information and goal strategies in the course of a year by doing one thing every day. One little thing every day is my secret way of mastering anything that it is that I want to master. So today, for the annual challenge, day 4 happens to be my parents' wedding anniversary. If my father was still alive, he died 8 years ago, right before Christmas. And this is a tough day for my mom. There's a couple tough days for my mom. December 21st, the day that he passed away, probably when he got sick. January 4th, their wedding anniversary, his birthday, lots of days, right? When you lose someone that you love and care about. So remembering them today, and every day actually. But today our topic was, what's in it for you? Most of us have heard of WIIFM, what's in it for me? And frankly, we ought to be asking ourselves that question often. Every time we want to do something, before we say something that we might regret, before we act without thinking, right? Before we do something that we might regret, before we make any decision, we want to ask ourselves, at least quickly and briefly on a subconscious level, what's in it for me? What's in it for me to do this thing or say this thing? And is it probably going to get the outcome I want? Or am I not thinking about the consequences and I might regret that I said or did something? So what's in it for you? Our topic today, I like to use what's in it for you when I'm talking with other people, but I like to think what's in it for me when I'm thinking about myself, of course, right? Me is about myself. You is about you. So what's in it for you to learn about goals, to master goals, to make goals a thing that you are an absolute expert at? Well, what's in it for you is lots of things, but we're just sharing 3 today. We're thinking about it for ourselves and then hopefully sharing. We don't have to share, but we're at least sharing with ourselves and documenting it in our journal or notebook, whatever we're using to keep track of our single daily actions. Why? Because when we go back and we want to think about something or see something or remind ourselves of a lesson that we learned or a tool that we've used during the challenge, we've got a place to go look. We don't have to go traipsing through all the past videos or past lessons to try to find a little thing that we know that we want to just have a quick reminder of. Secondly, our idiom, and I'm trying the beginning of the year to correspond the idiom for supersize your business to the annual challenge. I did it last year, I think pretty successfully, but I don't know. I want to do as many goal related idioms as I can this year. I don't think that I probably could twist 365 different idioms to business and goals, but it doesn't mean that there's that many goal related idioms. Although there's 20 million idioms in the English language alone, so they may very well be 365 goal related ones. Some will be better than others, like all idioms, like all words, right? Like all definitions and interpretation of what things mean. And it's all about, what do things mean to us? Have we heard these? Where did they come from? Can we find a way to use them in our business, or use them to think differently or think about something or have an alternate perspective or way of looking at things that we've never looked at before when we're growing and building and supersizing our business? So to dig your heels in, that's a pretty good one. I definitely have been accused of digging my heels in before, because I do. There's certain things that I will not compromise on. Not my beliefs. I've learned, and I used to be really, really stubborn, and I would dig my heels in, and I wouldn't change my mind no matter what, especially if I thought I was right. Didn't always serve me well, because sometimes what I thought I was right about might not even have been right for me, but it was just a belief I had that I thought was the way things should be. I think about my marriage. There were things and the ways, and I think both of us went into that relationship believing things should be a certain way. Primarily the relationships that we'd seen, the marriages that we'd had experienced, and we had experienced very different marriages in our parents and in our grandparents and in our lives. And so it led to lots of drama, lots of conflict, lots of misunderstanding, and finally divorce because I wasn't willing to compromise on some of my core values and beliefs. And he was okay with not being consistent with my core values and beliefs. And that doesn't work in a relationship, at least not for me. Works for a lot of people, but it doesn't work for me. So what do you dig your heels in on? I think this is a great question to ask ourselves anyway. What, and it's usually beliefs that we dig our heels in about. And one of the most powerful things I learned to do is ask myself, and I think I learned this from Ricky Zimmerman. I think her name's Ricky. Anyway, now it might not even be Zimmerman. Anyway, it's RZ are her initials. I remember that. She's a cute little blonde. Anyway, her question was, who does this belong to? And it was from a group she was working with, but who does this belong to? Who does this belief belong to? And that's a powerful question in that we've adopted it and gone along with it, but, and there's always a reason that we did, but is that still true right now, today? Is the belief that I had as a 10-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old child, and have carried with me in my subconscious up to this point, is it still valid today? Does it belong to me, or is it one of my parents' beliefs or one of my grandparents' beliefs or a kid I went to grade school with belief, right? It might be something that a kid said to me in school, and I was like, all right, I guess that makes sense. Or it might have been something that they said to me in a highly charged emotional situation that got locked into my brain as this is how I have to think and believe in order to feel safe and secure or whatever. Because our subconscious is all about keeping us safe, which is often in our best interest, but certainly not always. It will keep us stuck in our comfort zone, which is probably a safe place to be, but not necessarily the best place to be, depending on what you want in your life. So that's where our big topics for content today. Starting off the year, mapping things out. When I start an annual challenge, I don't have the whole thing planned out in my mind. I don't have it mapped out. And usually what I find is a few days into the year, I'm like, all right, I need to get a calendar out and I need to map the whole thing out. I was going to do it before the year started this year, but until I start doing it, I'm not sure what direction I want to go. And until I get some feedback from the people I'm working with, I'm not sure what the direction is I want to go. I know what direction I want to go for me in my life and how it's going to impact me, because I do the challenge right along with the people that are in the challenge, because I always want to be learning and growing and developing and becoming a better version of myself as well. And getting what I want is certainly a part of that, right? And knowing how to do that and having goals and everything about goals helps us to get what we want, right? So we're going to go deep into the process of getting what you want, which is really just a simple 5-step process. Although lots of us like to overcomplicate it. And I am on a simplification. The older I get, the more I try to simplify things, because it doesn't have to be complicated and difficult and a struggle and a hustle and a super challenging thing to make our lives work. It really doesn't have to. I mean, other people have us believe that life is hard and that everything's negative, but it certainly isn't. We can choose what we want to focus on. And what we focus on is what we get more of. What we give our energy to is what we get more of. So I'm going to give my energy to goals this year and getting what I want. And I hope you'll join me. You can just join us on, I'm doing it. I'm recording live every morning on my, usually morning, every once in a while during the year. I have to not do it in the morning because my schedule dictates that I am traveling or doing something else. This year, as a matter of fact, don't know when, which is really, really kind of against my personal beliefs, is I don't have an opportunity to pre-plan for heart surgery. I know I have to get heart surgery sometime this year, which is kind of a blessing because I was supposed to have had my ICD replaced after 9 years. Usually they only last 9 years, but mine's going on 13 plus. So fingers crossed. That'll happen sometime this year. Just don't know when. And I'm going to have to be flexible around the challenge, getting my content done. I definitely will still be doing the challenge every day. We'll just make sure I get the content out in a timely fashion. Might have to have some help. Might have to have some guest people help me out for a few days while I do that surgery. We'll see. I don't know yet. Maybe it'll be no brainer, in, out, one day, all done. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm not much on being sick and having hospitals. I spent plenty of time in my life in physical pain and having physical challenges, and I'm pretty much over it. All right. If I can help you anyway, ask. Otherwise, have a fantastic day. And I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow just to document my personal journey as I originally transitioned from the brick and mortar corporate world of businesses to the online world of businesses, and what I've learned and am learning, and what I'm doing, what's working, what's not working. If you ever have any questions, just ask, because I am an open book when it comes to almost everything. Well, maybe not some things in my personal life, because nobody cares about them anyway, except me, because they're personal. All right. Have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.